Welcome! Tonight's session is NLP, Create a Shield of Excellence. NLP actually stands for Neurolinguistic Programming. And what that basically is the science of success. NLP is the study of how the mind processes information. And what we want to do is we want to help you process information in a way that you can allow all the wonderful positive aspects of the world into your personal energy space, and to keep all the negative aspects of the world out of your personal energy space. And we're going to do this in a way that will allow you, hopefully, to access this state of allowing the positive in and keeping the negative out by using what we call anchors. In NLP, anchors are like triggers to a positive emotional state. I mean, we could create triggers to a negative emotional state, but we don't want to do that. You have enough already. If you're human, like the rest of us, we all have negative triggers. We all have anchors to negative emotional states. And the idea to live a happy, joyous life is to get rid of those, have them diminish. And one of the ways that we do that is by creating anchors to positive emotional states. When you think about what power is, most people think of having power as having power over other people. That is not power. That is tyranny. Real power is the ability to choose your emotional state, no matter what. That's power. And that's what we want to give you during this session. We want to connect you to your personal power so that no matter what's going on around you, you have the ability to connect with a positive emotional state. We're going to do this by going into what we call an altered state of consciousness. Basically, there are 4 levels of consciousness that there actually are more than 4. But for our purposes, we're going to talk about the 4 main levels of consciousness that most of us experience on a daily basis. Well, if you don't experience all these on a daily basis, I'd be kind of worried about you. These are the common levels of consciousness that we all experience on a daily basis. And basically they are beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Beta is your alert, aware state. That's where your critical mind is. That's linear thinking. That's logic. That's up, down, left, right, north, south. Beta level consciousness is really important. That's where we get a lot of work done. That's where we use information to solve problems and things of that nature. When you fall asleep at night, you're not quite awake, you're not quite asleep, you slip into what we call alpha. In alpha, you experience what we call sensory acuity. And what I mean by that is that your senses literally become more acute. Your hearing gets better. Your sense of touch is more acute. If you open your eyes in alpha, you will literally be able to see better. Have you ever had the experience where you're falling asleep at night and you're just about ready to fall off, and all of a sudden you can hear the clock ticking or the water dripping, or you feel the sheets on your skin and it drives you crazy, and you bring yourself right back up to beta, right? Don't do that anymore. From now on, realize that is a stage that you're going through. That is a natural stage of sleep that you're entering into. So that instead of getting irritated, allow yourself to have the awareness that, oh, this is part of going to sleep. Cool. I'm experiencing sensory acuity. Then you let yourself go deeper and you go into theta. At theta, you're just not paying attention. Notice my use of language. You're just not paying attention. Nothing outside of you has changed. The water's still dripping. The clock is still ticking, but your attention has been directed more inward. And then the deepest level is delta. Delta is where the body heals itself and rejuvenates. Alpha and theta are where dreams occur. Alpha and theta are where hypnosis occurs. Alpha and theta are where meditation occurs. And the reason I'm explaining this to you is twofold. Number one, these are natural states. There's nothing woo about this. This is totally natural. In fact, you go into alpha every 90 to 120 minutes throughout the day, whether you're aware of it or not. Have you ever had the experience where you're driving your car, and all of a sudden you look around and you go, where am I? Who's been driving this car? That's called highway hypnosis. Now, you were safe. You know, you stopped at the red lights, hopefully. You ever wonder what happens to people run over the, but I thought it was green, Your unconscious mind is concerned with keeping you safe. Now, you might have missed your turn off, because your unconscious mind doesn't really care where you're going. Your unconscious mind just wants you to be safe. So this is a natural phenomenon that occurs every 90 to 120 minutes throughout the day. So we're not doing anything weird, but the value of going into these altered states is we are bypassing what we call the critical mind. The critical mind exists at theta. The critical mind is that part of you that says, you can't do this. Who do you think you are? You're not whatever enough. You're not tall enough. You're not smart enough. You're not overweight enough. No. But this is the kind of, this information up here that puts you down all the time, that makes you feel bad, that's occurring at theta level consciousness. That's your critical mind. We want to bypass that. We want to go into alpha and theta, where your critical mind is taking a break, hopefully. Now, during this process, your critical mind may pop in and say something to you like, you can't do this, or whatever it says to you. If it does, don't say no to it. Don't try to resist it. Remember, what you resist persists. What you say no to, you're giving power to it. So instead of saying no to it, acknowledge it. Like your critical mind pops in and says something to you like, well, who do you think you are? Or whatever it says to you. Just allow it to pop in. Say, hi, critical mind, thank you very much. For right now, go sit on the shelf. You can join me later. And it will. It will. You're not going to escape your critical mind. The important thing is to acknowledge it and then let it go. You don't want to say no to it, because whatever you say no to, you're giving power to it.